Get the Friendo Club set up today and get access to over 700 Going In Raw bonus episodes, our monthly Big Blue predictions challenges, and the ability to ask questions at Going In Raw. We also offer the Steve and Larson comic book and exclusive Friendo Club t-shirt. Just hit join here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson or go to patreon.com/Steve and Larson to sign up. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And we are fantasy predicting the WrestleMania card for 2025. The other video right now is up where Larson gave his fantasy predictions, which is sort of like a combination of like what we want to see and like reasonably what could happen as well.
I guess the idea is based on stories being told, the trajectory we see, the matches that we would like to see. Like there's not anything, I think, at least on the video, about the card I put together that's completely out of left field. You know?
Yeah, I pretty much stuck to, with a few exceptions, I pretty much stuck to what's going on right now, what I could see potentially happening based off of maybe some teases that we've seen. And of course, in this video, The Rock will be at WrestleMania, as we've talked about recently, both on Going In Raw here at Friendo Club. Seems like there's definitely a bit of a domino effect that could take place with The Rock and the major players there in the main event scene. So like you, I've got 7 matches per night, and I've got, so promotionally speaking, man, I'm doing the 2 main events per night thing, even though we all know what the last match on the card is the main event. So, but you know, because there's the whole situation with the Women's Rumble not getting the main event. Like, realistically, Triple H has just done a terrible job with the women's division. There's no long-term story that hasn't been already plagued by injuries in terms of Rhea and Liv, because I think this story was supposed to be done a while ago. Anyways.
Yeah.
So there doesn't seem to be a clear story that needs to be finished for the women by WrestleMania. So I did my best with that. But we're going to start off on night 1 with the Intercontinental Championship. Yeah, Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
This was teased for a moment. Granted, they've teased a lot of people with this particular person, but we're going to use the transfer window in order to spread the influence of the bloodline. Jacob Fatu versus Braun Breaker. Even if people are like, oh, he's supposed to be bloodline, they're SmackDown, I think they'll forgive that given how cool this match really could be. Jacob Fatu is just so much fun in the ring, and Braun Breaker's really developed into a really, really fun wrestler as well. So Jacob Fatu, time for him to stop being just the dude behind Solo doing this and busting out cool shit every once in a while. Let's get him into a match where we can see what he can do. And maybe, again, I'm not booking the winners on this. Maybe he comes away with his first singles gold. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. It's not up to me. It's up to Triple H. So that's the first match on the card. Next up, the Women's Intercontinental Championship. It's been tradition in the past, here and there, a couple times. Some of the more memorable Intercontinental Championship matches have been ladder matches. Even multi-man ladder matches. And one way to solve Triple H's bundling of the women's division, where he sort of has everybody at kind of a mid-level, I'm going to have champion Lyra Valkyria walk in. I'm trying now. Walk in with the Intercontinental. I think that she's going to win it. Walk in with the Intercontinental Championship and take on, and this is going to be like match. This is what the Intercontinental Championship should be. So you've got some other really good wrestlers in there. It's going to be Lyra, Dakota Kai, Zoe Stark, Zelina Vega, and then because I gotta keep them on the card somehow. Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. They're going to be in it trying to play spoiler and trying to get that title on Liv, but Raquel might be thinking, oh, I kind of want a piece of this too. So you got like some mini stories going on as well. So that's the women's Intercontinental ladder match. After that, I feel like this feud is meant for WrestleMania, given the severity of it. And maybe it's for the true WWF Championship. I don't know. But Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. Obviously, they're going to have a match between now and then, because I feel like probably they'll do Cody versus Kevin at Saturday Night's Main Event 38. Randy will probably come back at that one. And then there's only a couple months. I mean, yeah, they might have a match at Elimination Chamber. Maybe they'll both be in the chamber with each other. And that can forward their feud at WrestleMania. I feel like this is going to be a WrestleMania match, though. So I got Kevin Owens and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Next up, by the way, no SmackDown tag titles on this card.
Yeah, I didn't have my card either.
No Motor City Machine Guns. No Gargano Ciampa. Get them little dudes out of here. This is where the big boys play, Larson.
Wow.
That one was from Mr. Dope. But I do have the Raw tag titles here because I feel like, especially with the New Day, that's heated up a little bit. So I've got some Judgment Day representation. Finn Balor, JD McDonough. Yeah. We got the current champions. The War Raiders are going to be in there. We got the hot heat of the New Day in there. And to make this a fatal four-way, Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. I know in the other video you were like, I don't want to put Jey in a tag team. This is a super tag team though, man. This is Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. Their chemistry is great. Jimmy can hobble with them ringside, and he gives his blessing.
The broken toe though.
You know what? He could just How about this? Fine, he doesn't hobble then. He's like, hey, Us. You're pursuing your singles thing. Jimmy says this to Jay. You did your singles thing, Oos. I want to do my singles thing. But
is Jimmy going to win the Andre Battle Royal then the night before?
Yes, perfect. Yeah, he does that the night before, and then he gets to come out on stage with the big thing, with the trophy.
Jay won it a couple years back.
Perfect. So he's going to follow that. I had no idea. So Jimmy corners Sammy and Jay for this match. New Day probably get the win, though. Because then Sammy and Jay aren't locked in as a tag team. Yep. They're just doing this because months and months ago they got, I think, a tag opportunity.
They did beat the Judgment Day were tag champs, yeah.
Yeah, right. But then they never did the actual tag match for the titles. So this is that. They're going to cash it on this. Long-term storytelling. And then in the final match before the co-main events, you've got Gunther, the mid-card world champion, versus the guy who never lost it to Gunther, Seth freaking Rollins. This could be match of the entire card because they'd get 20 solid minutes of action here. So, again, who wins, who loses? I don't know who wins, loses. I'm going to try to give it to maybe Seth wins. I don't know. That'll be my suggestion, to Triple H. Seth wins.
But
question
certainly
mark?
not booking. You're not deciding who's up.
I'm not deciding.
Who goes up,
it's not my decision.
Who goes down, yeah.
No, exactly. But that'd be definitely match of the night, I think. On the other hand, this next match, the first in the co-main events, could easily be match of the night as well. Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. I can't think of a better way to heat up the women's division. Bianca wins the Rumble again. Her versus Rhea Ripley. Who wins? The fans wins. That's who wins. Rhea's going to win this title, I think, at Raw next Netflix premiere. Yeah. And so we just, you know what, man? Sometimes if you haven't done a decent job building some shit, you just got to put a couple of big names in there. This is something they've teased for a while. Just put the big names in there. And I don't know. I mean, Bianca's got the Mania streak right now, so she probably goes over here. They could run it back with a proper story the next year. Or Rhea breaks the streak right now. I don't know. Either way, this match would fuck. And then in our night one main event, I know we've got all these major players going on, right?
Yeah.
So you got the final boss. One of the most entertaining characters along the way. People love him and they love to boo him. I did this Wrestle Juice video yesterday. I talked about various main event possibilities. And along the way, I was watching a bunch of Rock videos from the final boss phase. Dude, I sat there for a good half hour watching some of this stuff.
So you watched one promo then?
Okay, I was skipping around a lot to the most played section on YouTube.
Yeah.
When he was calling the crowd crackheads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All incredible. Even the Raw After Mania promo was really long, but it was wildly entertaining. So, I'm thinking to myself, dude, who needs a main event? One of the most popular guys on the roster, one of the best promos on the roster. Who would the crowd get behind?
You're going to do Phil and Dwayne?
And they've got history. Dude, this is going to be from a promo perspective, this is all I'm thinking right now, from an entertainment perspective. And if CM Punk wants a main event against the biggest name right now, it is The Rock. So I got CM Punk versus The Rock night one main event. Generally, but that's when they did Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold. Kind of similar here, where you got the dude, the celebrity guy coming in. I know he's the final boss. Here's my problem with doing Rock Roman or Rock Cody. Nothing will beat the build we got last year with Cody and The Rock. They can't outdo that shit. It was too good. You're treading on familiar ground. You don't need the match necessarily because we had that night one match last year where Cody got pinned by The Rock. Rock Roman, I'll be honest with you, I don't like that build. Because if they try to make this for the Ula Fala, Rock has this weird tendency. Last year, he overshadowed Roman. Roman does have this tendency, and this goes back years.
Yeah.
When he's in there with like a bigger name than him, he fades to the background. And I don't know that this feud will look good for Roman. I don't have faith that that would look good for Roman. Now, they could plot out something really, really cool. I just don't think it'll be as entertaining as CM Punk's promos and The Rock's promos. And honestly, like, even back when they were doing it 15 years ago or 12 years ago or whatever it was, back in 2013, whatever it was, like, the promos were kind of one-sided back then because Punk was on fire.
Yeah.
With Rock being able to do whatever the hell he wants now as a true bad guy character, that changes things a little bit. So we're going to get all these Rock promos where basically like CM Punk is like, oh, you can't box with the arms that you got against God or whatever it was. And then Rock will call him a meth head. You know what I mean? Like, that shit sounds fun as hell. So that's what I want to see there in the night one main event. And they're huge names. Yeah. That's a potential thing right there. All right. Let's move on to night two.
Night two. What do you got for me?
Opening up, Women's United States Championship match. I really liked your Jordan Gray suggestion, but given that she's not in the company yet, I went ahead and went with Chelsea Green versus Piper Niven. I think it's entirely possible and maybe even likely that Piper Niven gets jealous over Chelsea Green actually accomplishing something. And she's like, hey, you know what? I kind of want this now. Mm-hmm. So she turns on Chelsea, becomes a monster heel, and they have a really good. And you see, the thing is, like, the bond between these two, I think people have really picked up on it. They've really noticed there's a ton of history they can like reference now.
Yeah.
And so I think this would be a feud with a lot of heat behind it. For the United States Championship, kind of a variation on what you did, but I try to stay away too much from all those names. So I went straight up one-on-one. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Carmelo Hayes. This one, I think I would probably put in pen, or I'd circle Carmelo Hayes' name.
Yes.
The dude was the number one pick for SmackDown. Needs to have that U.S. title. And I feel like hopefully this feud with Braun Strowman will be a short one, and B, a definitive win in the end for Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
And that fluke squash match is a fluke squash match.
Yes.
So he's the guy to take to beat Shinsuke Nakamura and win that U.S. title. I think it'd look like $1 million on Carmelo Hayes.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
This next one.
Why the heavy sigh?
Because I was trying to find a match for Solo Sikoa.
All right.
And I like your suggestion of Drew McIntyre, but I got Drew in a different role. So I'm gonna do a match that we saw recently, but was wonked. And this is a match that a lot of people saw on the house show circuit.
Oh, LA Knight. Again.
Solo Sikoa. So LA Knight, at this point, he lost the U.S. title to Shinsuke Nakamura. So he's kind of above U.S. title, I feel. Solo Sikoa is above U.S. title because he's about to lose to Roman Reigns for the Ula Fala.
Yeah.
But he's not a U.S. title guy. He's above that. So they kind of meet in the middle here. And I feel like if Solo Sikoa has the full power of the bloodline behind him, a bad bloodline behind him against LA Knight, I feel like they're kind of on par with each other. They have good in-ring chemistry.
They do.
Because
they
wrestled
was really good.
It was. Yeah. They wrestled a million times.
Yeah.
But we haven't really seen that story on main roster. They just did it on the house show circuit, that match, a bunch of times. I think it was 34 times, and I think LA Knight won all of them.
Yeah.
So, again, in this case, I don't know who the hell wins. Probably bad bloodline screws over LA Knight, and Solo Sikoa gets a much-needed win after losing to Roman Reigns. And I don't think that I don't think it hurts LA Knight too much to lose against the leader of the Bad Bloodline, especially when the Bad Bloodline helps out Solo Sikoa.
If it's a protected loss, yeah. No, I get
it. Next up, all right, this is where you just have to make the concession that as of now, Nia Jax, there's a lot going on in that scene.
Yes.
Okay. So I put her here's what we're going to do with Nia Jax. In the build up to this, she's going to claim that she's cleared out the division.
Mm-hmm.
Elimination Chamber, maybe she has a title defense against, I don't even know at this point. She has a one last title defense, and she said, you know what? I don't even need to defend this thing at WrestleMania. So instead, we tell a multi-woman story where she goes in and has a 6-woman tag match. Maybe Bayley's coming after her again. And Nia, Tiffany, and Candice are all teaming up against Bayley. Who comes out to help Bayley through the transfer portal? Io Sky and Kairi Sane. Triple H always loved Damage Control, so I think he's going to approve this match. So you've got, because Dakota's in the Intercontinental Championship match, you got Io, Kairi, and Bayley in a Damage Control reunion taking on Nia, Tiffany, and Candice. Whatever happens in the end, Tiffany ends up cashing in because along the way on this story, as we've seen, Nia treats Tiffany like dog shit. She thinks she has her under thumb. You get a Bayley to belly, a rose plant, an insane elbow, and a crazy-ass moonsault. Maybe Damage Control sees Tiffany and sees how she's been treated. Maybe along the road, they're like, Tiffany, you got to get out under the thumb of Nia Jax. And maybe they just sort of step aside and take out Candice to allow Tiffany, after the match is done, to allow Tiffany to cash in on Nia Jax. And that's super protected for Nia Jax there. Tiffany becomes champion, and at Backlash France 2, they can run that with Tiffany versus Nia straight up one-on-one. Then we've got the mystery attacker, Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill. I do look, man, they teased this match when Jade first came in and she was doing the endless tour backstage with Triple H. And Charlotte is a super veteran. Again, this is assuming Jade Cargill is going to be good to go. And you have Charlotte come in. That's a big star power looking match right there. And Charlotte, I think, can carry Jade into a really, really good match. So yeah, I think that's a great way to reestablish Jade Cargill there on main roster. And then we get down to our final 2 matches, the co-mains event of WrestleMania. You have Drew McIntyre going up against Solo Sikoa in your video. I'm going to have him step up, dude. If Drew McIntyre is truly going to have a killer 2025, then he's going to be paying off his OG Bloodline Hunter role in a match against Roman Reigns. I feel like in this situation, Drew's got to beat Roman Reigns.
Yeah, if that's the match, yeah.
Because number one, he's got the moral high ground here. He's absolutely right. And I feel like Roman needs a story where he has to look at himself and be like, this guy was right, and that's why he won. Because like winning and losing can sometimes validate a person's stance.
Yeah.
So Roman looks at himself in the mirror and says, you know, I have been an asshole. And look at me now. I just lost to Drew McIntyre. It helps Drew immensely. And he's either the guy to dethrone Cody. Yeah, maybe he dethrones Cody. But in my situation, next up, for the main event of WrestleMania, night 2.
Oh, you have Cena actually beating Cody.
I've got John Cena beating Cody Rhodes. They can market this in the big... Honestly, like because of John Cena's stature right now, he is a pop culture icon.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. And they build this up and they do some video packages where... And he's going to be at Elimination Chamber and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They do some video packages where, I don't know, he's working out. He's refocusing. He's watching video of him getting spiked by Solo Sikoa 18 times, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they
Giving
actually...
commentary on the video, yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What does it mean, all these moves? It means I'm getting my ass kicked.
It's like that wasn't a pleasant experience.
Exactly.
Getting spiked.
So yeah, John Cena is the guy to dethrone Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes gets it back at SummerSlam, but then we get a bit of a John Cena Universal Champion World Tour between WrestleMania rather, and SummerSlam, where he beats some other big names. Maybe CM Punk takes his shot at John Cena and comes up short. and a couple of the dudes. I don't know who, but yeah, and then he drops it back to Cody or hell, maybe bad guy Drew McIntyre has his big 2025 moment where he dethrones John Cena.
That'd be huge for Drew. Yeah.
That'd be big. And then you could do Drew versus Cody at Mania. Maybe Cody wins there. Maybe Punk. I don't know what you do. That's not my pay grade. We're not doing those videos yet.
No, we'll do it next year.
We'll do those videos next year for Christmas.
Yeah, Mania 2026. We'll do that video next year.
Exactly. So, John Cena ends WrestleMania as the new undisputed champion and hence kicks off the championship year of John Cena. Because, dude, breaking the record, you can sell so many tickets off that. I think WrestleMania, are the tickets on sale yet? They're on.
Oh, they've been on
right?
sale for a while, yeah.
They have been, right? Yeah. Is it sold out yet?
Probably.
All right. Well, then
Added
there you
value,
go.
Steve says.
Added value to the tickets that are already sold then. So, yeah, John Cena beats Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania. That one I put in marker right there. Cena wins. Come on, man. Cody's got to win that. Got to lose that title sometime. He's not going to lose it to some chump. He's got to lose it, and it shouldn't be Dwayne.
No, he shouldn't lose it to Dwayne. No, not at all.
I don't think so. No. So yeah, there's my WrestleMania night. I know maybe some controversial picks there. People can be like, "What? Punk? Who would argue against promos with Punk and Rock? That'd be crazy." They'd get fucking real too. Punk would be doling out some haymakers, and then Rock would be like, "You look like a crackhead."
Yeah, no, that's what it'd be though. That's all it'd be. Is like Punk making some points. Oh, like your Hollywood career is floundering.
Yeah.
And then
you know what they should do along the way? Kayfabe kill off Larry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't call him Larry, call him shithead.
Exactly. Yeah. Rock drops a promo on Larry, like a 20-minute Instagram promo, all on Larry.
Yeah, all on Larry.
That'd be good.
10 minutes on Larry's underbite alone.
You can't tell me that wouldn't be absolutely hilarious. It'd be great.
It could be funny, yeah. It could be funny.
Anyways, there you go. There's my booking, my fantasy prediction of WrestleMania 41.
I think we coined a new phrase, fantasy prediction.
Fantasy predict. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right. We got it. It's like fantasy book, but within the realm of reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't be bringing in like holograms of Ultimate Warrior. That ain't going to work.
No.
Anyway.
How do you wrestle a hologram? Not hologram in AEW. That's, he's...
Well, you can wrestle him.
You can.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
Holograms, there's like a projection. How do you wrestle a projection?
Lasers. You can't wrestle lasers.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah. Anyways, hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe. Go see the other video where Larson fantasy predicts the other Mania card with no Rock.
Yeah.
Rock, no way.
No Rock.